Our second lightning round speaker is someone you hope to get picked to be on a team with on anything, really. With a Master of Education in Environmental and Sustainability Education, she executes her River Strategy Coordinator job at the River Institute with an incredible ability to co-create with others while bringing a high level of kindness and compassion to everything she touches. Please welcome our friend and colleague, Emilie DeRochie.
So firstly, thank you so much, Bridget, for that really kind introduction, and hello everyone. I'd like to give a big shout out, maybe you'll join me with this, to the State of the River team on another really wonderful conference, so big congratulations. So my name is Emilie DeRochie, as has been mentioned, and I'm here today to speak about the St. Lawrence River Strategy, or the River Strategy for short. Now, before I do, I actually wanted to ask a question to the audience today. So if you're willing to participate, I'd love to see a thumbs up if you agree with me, in between if you're not sure, or a thumbs down if you're like, nah, maybe not. And that question is, would you agree with me if I said that working together for environmental protection can be best done when we do so with friendship at top of mind? I'm gonna be honest, I can't see if your thumbs are up or down. I'll take it as there's like some agreement, maybe some aren't convinced yet. So maybe after this presentation, you'll agree. So, the River Strategy, what is it? So this is a multinational initiative that was founded in partnership between the River Institute in Cornwall and the Mohawk Council of Advocacy Environment Program. And so a key thing to note here is that the River Institute is the backbone organization of this initiative. But all that this means is that my role as the coordinator is housed at the River Institute. And technically, this backbone organization could move. It could go to the MCA. It could even come upstream here to the Thousand Islands, for example. So we just want to note that it's not a River Institute's project, it's everyone's project who is involved. And so the purpose of this initiative is to facilitate more inclusive and equitable communication and collaboration for a more beautiful and healthy St. Lawrence River for all. I know what you're thinking, that seems a little bit broad and a little bit vague, but that's entirely the point. It's because we want everyone to see themselves in this. Some quick context as to why we exist. So the River Strategy came to be in 2021, and this is because in the Cornwall and Akwesasne region, we have some very complex jurisdictional boundaries. We have the federal border, and then we have 3 state/provincial borders. We have Ontario, Quebec, and New York State. In the middle of all of that is Akwesasne. And so if you think about protecting and working on the river, there's a lot of different agencies involved, and collaboration can be really difficult and have lots of complexities. This is also not to say, though, that there hasn't been really wonderful work taking place for a very long time. But it was said that there needs to be a more adaptable and inclusive approach for doing this work on the river. And so the River Strategy was born. Now, a unique aspect of this initiative is that in being founded in partnership with the Mohawk Council, we are guided by a Geswenta, or the Haudenosaunee 2-row wampum approach. Now, I will note, I am not at all an expert. I'm still very much learning. But what I do know is here on the screen here is a wampum belt. And you can see there's 2 lines of purple wampum. They represent 2 vessels. One is the birch bark canoe, the Haudenosaunee people, and one is the ship of the Dutch settlers. And so the idea is that these 2 vessels are traveling side by side, working towards shared goals, but while respecting the unique worldviews and the autonomy of these 2 distinct societies. And so we can say, in working together in this way in the River Strategy, that we're working guided by peace, respect, and my keyword, friendship. And so in this way, it makes it so that working together doesn't need to be complicated. We just have to work with these principles in mind. And so we've had engagement with over 65 organizations and groups along the Upper St. Lawrence River since 2021. Perhaps you can see yourself in some of these photos here. And recently, I've been asked quite a few times, what is it that we did to gain this momentum and to maintain it? And honestly, I didn't know how to answer this at first. But as I began to think about it, and this is a bit cheesy, I think it really has to do with the fact that we approach everything with friendship at top of mind. So what I mean by this is that in any space that we facilitate, online or in person, we aim as much as possible to make it a warm, welcoming space. And we try to make sure that everyone's voice is at a level playing field, trying not to favor a specific worldview or one organization's specific agenda, like we might be used to in these collaborative environments for the most part. And if you think about it, how can we expect people to get together in a space if they don't know each other and come and create these big objectives together and implement these really impactful, big, long-term projects on the river if they don't have a basis to start with, if they aren't already friends, right? We need to have an understanding of who's in the room, what are their needs, what are their priorities, how can we help each other, right? That's kind of a pathway to long-term protection of our river, I think. And so this initiative does have a structure, and I hope you'll check out our website to learn even more. This is a very high-level overview, and we do have a guiding document, we have a framework, and our River Community Peace and Healing Protocol that kind of brings us all together and how we work. But largely, we do have a larger collective. And so what is meant by this is that anyone that's involved in this collective, maybe they don't even sit on a committee, maybe they just attend the odd regional meeting, that's perfect. They just agree to be in this space guided by our values and respecting those values, essentially. And then we have our steering committee. And this is a group of folks, and there's some in the room here today, it's nice to see you all, who basically make decisions on behalf of the collective and with the collective's best interests in mind. So we have individuals from across the Upper St. Lawrence River and beyond, there's about 20 individuals. And then we have our subcommittees. So by subcommittee, just think of a group that's all kind of interested in one theme. Invasive species, for example, being one, and outreach being one. And the idea is that subcommittees, they kind of discuss these big themes together and then hatch into what I call working groups. So an example of how this works is our outreach subcommittee wanted to talk about a bio-blitz and have an Upper St. Lawrence River bio-blitz last spring. And so we essentially hatched a smaller temporary working group where anyone that was interested came into this virtual space. We planned it out, who's gonna do what are we gonna call it, and then we all went our separate ways to our regular organizations, and we were all a part of this bigger campaign to have this bigger impact together, okay? And so this was the Upper St. Lawrence River Community Bio-Blitz, and it entailed having folks go out and use the iNaturalist app to observe specimens out in the wild and upload that information to this app. So not only did this outreach committee have folks go and engage with the environment, but they also had meaningful environmental data collected. So it was a win-win. It was a pretty cool step for our collective. Now, another key part about this initiative is this commitment to ongoing learning. As the backbone organization, we are always learning and commit to learning about being more inclusive and accessible and welcoming. We're not perfect, not at all, but we're still learning. And I can see that in all the committees and everyone that's involved in this space as well. And then a commitment to ongoing learning about Indigenous ways of knowing. And so a part of the river strategy, we do have funding in which folks will have access to cultural training opportunities. And then a commitment to ongoing learning about each other. And this just goes back to my concept about friendship. In any friendship, we're committed to learning about each other, adapting to each other's needs, and helping each other out, of course. So if any of this sounds intriguing to you, I encourage you to check out our various committees. These are all currently active. Please check out our website at stlawrenceRiverStrategy.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter, and my contact information is there as well if you'd like to chat, learn more, and get involved. With this, I hope that in whatever endeavors you're part of, where you're working collaboratively to protect the environment, that you consider doing so with friendship at top of mind. Thank you so much for your time, and that's my contact info. So, thank you.